Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rajat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology, I talk about transits. Today I am here to talk about the partial solar eclipse that is happening on 21st of September, 2 weeks after the total lunar eclipse, and how it is going to have an impact on all of us in terms of the new beginnings. What is that we could expect? What are certain remedies for us, and how we could navigate through these energies of the season of eclipse, which will bring a closure to the eclipse season of 2025. So firstly, this is a partial solar eclipse where the signs of Leo as well as Virgo are involved, because Sun will be making a transit in Virgo. Moon is having an interesting transit because the time of eclipse, Moon is transitioning from Leo to Virgo, while Ketu, the south node of the Moon, is going to be placed in Leo. Rahu is in Aquarius. Sun will be conjoined Mercury in the sign of Virgo, and it will be in opposition with Saturn. And at that time, Venus will also be conjoined with Ketu as well as Moon in the sign of Leo. So during this eclipse, if you're going through the Dasha, Antardasha, Pratanta Dasha of Sun, Moon, Rahu, Ketu, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, or if you have prominent planets in the sign of Virgo, in the sign of Pisces, in the sign of Leo, and in the sign of Aquarius, and even if you're going through Dasha Antardasha of Mercury as well as Jupiter, you are likely to be impacted by this eclipse in terms of the new beginnings that you can expect. This partial solar eclipse, from a geographical point of view, is going to be visible in New Zealand and some parts of Eastern Australia and also Antarctica, and also in some parts over the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. So therefore, Southeast Asian region is likely to have the most impact of this partial eclipse. Though this is partial, so I do not expect this eclipse to have significant impact or any such turmoil around the world, and we should not be fear mongering. We must understand that eclipses denote new beginnings. It is a very good day for any spiritual sadhana, because whatever prayers that you do on this day, you get the effects in a multifold manner, because the energies are such, and it is a perfect time to manifest these energies to the best of your potential. The partial solar eclipse is happening in the sign of Virgo in the nakshatra of Uttara Falguni. This nakshatra has the energies of Sun, who is the ruler of Uttara Falguni nakshatra, and also Mercury, who is the ruler of the sign of Virgo. This nakshatra is very well connected, interlinked to Purva Falguni nakshatra, where we will be witnessing the total lunar eclipse. Uttara Falguni nakshatra, very similar to Purva Falguni. The symbol that signifies this nakshatra is the back legs of a bed or a cot. Now this kind of bed is such a bed or a couch or a cot that is meant to be resting or relaxing during the daytime. It is not linked to the nighttime bed. So that is something which must be taken into consideration. The presiding deity, the ruling deity of this nakshatra is called Aryaman, which is one of the 12 Adityas, or a form of Surya. This is the god of nobility. This is the god of contracts, unions, social bonds, and righteous conduct. So we could expect contracts, social bonds to rise in the coming weeks and month. Now the ruling planet is Sun. That is the planet of vitality, that is the planet of stability, leadership and authority. Surya also brings consistency and clarity of all kinds. This nakshatra has the power of sustaining and granting prosperity through unions, through social unions of all kinds and agreements of all kinds. Some of the key words or events that are very closely associated to this nakshatra are the social ceremonies, marriages, nobility, your duty. It is a nakshatra of balance, the balance of power as well as responsibility. So over the course of next few weeks, we can witness some sort of optimism where power is to be used in a very responsible manner, where leaders can take some crucial decisions for the benefit of the world, for the benefit of the society, and for the benefit of social groups. This nakshatra also indicates generosity and patronage. Natives with strong Uttara Falguni energies are very much into philanthropic activities, very much into donations, helping others, healing others, and at the same time doing this as part of their daily life. And they also take active part in building social communities, building social networks, and bringing people together towards a common purpose. So the key message of this eclipse is that the real power lies in sustaining, not just acquiring. It is our time to bridge enjoyment with responsibility and personal success with social contribution. Now let's try and understand how this partial solar eclipse of the year 2025, the second partial solar eclipse of the year 2025, is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. From a physical manifestation point of view, you must primarily read it from your ascendant sign in terms of results. At a mental level, you can also read this from your moon sign. And once again, if you are running major periods or sub periods of Sun, Moon, Mercury, Saturn, Venus, Rahu, Ketu, Jupiter, you are likely to have an impact of this eclipse. Therefore, I believe regardless of this being partial and predominantly visible in New Zealand and some parts of Australia, majority of people globally are going to have an impact of this eclipse because of the number of planets that are involved. Aries ascendant signs. So this eclipse is having an impact on your 6th house. So we will see all the 6th house matters and what is coming to a new beginning in terms of the energies, in terms of the big shifts that we could expect 21st September onwards for the next few weeks. 6th house represents deaths, diseases, health and well-being, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. This is also one of the Upachaya Bhavas. We see growth from the 6th house. Now there are a number of planets that are involved in this eclipse. Some prominent planets for you becomes the 5th Lord Sun, your 4th Lord Moon, Mercury, who is your 3rd and the 6th Lord, and Venus is also involved in this eclipse. So most importantly, your 5th Lord Sun and the 4th Lord Moon, and also your 10th Lord Saturn, who represents your work, who represents your career, is involved in this eclipse. Now we also see job related matters from the 6th house. So you could have new beginnings with regards to most of the matters related to the 6th house. Here your 6-12 axis is involved. Partially your 5-11 axis is also involved because Moon is making a transition from the 5th house till the 6th house. Now from a health point of view, you have to really take care of your digestive system. You have to take care of what you eat, what you consume, because 5th house represents your stomach. 6th house is second from the 5th house, which represents your digestion. Now there could be some repayment of debts that you are likely to do and close out in the next few weeks. So there were any concerns with regards to debts, with regards to repayments, you could expect some sort of relief because your 5th Lord Sun is involved, and Sun holds a greater disposition because this eclipse is happening in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, which is ruled by Sun, that has the energies of Sun as well as Mercury, and both are also involved in this eclipse. You can expect new beginnings with regards to your daily routine, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So your focus should be to bring in a change in your lifestyle. It is an opportunity window for you to bring in a 180-degree shift in your lifestyle. Now the priority for you should be your health, your well-being as a number one priority, because this could create some hospital visits, this could create some minor health issues, but it's a positive window for you to refocus on your health, on your vitality, and also overcoming your enemies. Because some of the planets that are involved, including Sun and Moon, share a friendly relationship with your loving Lord Mars. So if you've been facing any opposition at work, if you've been facing any enmity, now is the time for you to rise and overcome these enemies. Though of course you will still be engrossed in workplace politics. You could still have some issues with authority, because what is happening is during the eclipse, Sun and Saturn are in opposition, where Saturn is making a transit in your 12th house. It is retrograde, that's your 10th Lord. So it could momentarily create some issues of discomfort at work, which you must be prepared with. But that is helping you to go for new beginnings. That is helping you to restart maybe your career, to restart your professional endeavor and step into a new job, step into a new role, which could also help you to bring in a sense of change in your lifestyle. Worship Lord Vishnu. You can use a Shadakshari or a 6-syllable mantra, that is Om Vishnave Namah, which is mapped to your 6th house. Do a lot of sadhana on 21st of September, because any prayers that are done during the day of the eclipse, we do get multifold results, because the energies are such, and it is our time to make the most of these energies. Taurus ascendant signs or the Taurus moon signs. At the physical level, you will only read this from your ascendant sign in terms of physical manifestation of the beginnings. At the mental level, through navigating certain challenges, you can also read this from your moon sign. So what is happening on 21st of September? We have the partial annual solar eclipse that is happening in your 5th house in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, which is ruled by Sun. This nakshatra has the energies of Sun as well as Mercury. So 5th house matters will expect new beginnings, some sort of restart, something that has already come to an end by the time of this eclipse. Now you can expect new beginnings with regards to these matters. Now your 5th lord Mercury is involved in this eclipse, so that definitely calls for new beginnings, because Mercury will be conjoined with Sun. Your Lagna lord Venus is also involved, because Venus will be in the sign of Leo, and Moon is making a transition from Leo to Virgo. So the sign of Leo is also involved, which is your 4th house. And Saturn, which is your 9th lord, who is your 9th lord, is also involved in this eclipse. So all your trinal lords are involved. So you could expect some sort of financial decisions, some sort of financial karma, because these houses are Lakshmi Bhav. And these houses represent your dharma as well, are very closely connected to your dharma, where Saturn becomes the 9th lord, the lord of dharma, the lord of bhagya. So of course, you could expect some breakthrough, new beginnings over the course of next few weeks, starting 21st of September. 5th house itself represents your future. It represents your children. We see positional success from this house. We see mantras from this house. And 5th lord, which is Mercury in your case, becomes the Mantresha or the lord of mantras. We also see your stomach from this house. Creativity is seen from this house. All creative pursuits. Power is seen from here, because this is the Rajya Bhava, or the house that represents kingdom. Now with power comes corruption as well. So there is always a caveat associated to each and every house that also represents some pitfalls or blind spots. So you have to be careful as well. Now what is happening here is, during the eclipse, you could expect beginnings with regards to matters of this house, which is about your future. All things that are related to your future, which is your future planning, future goals, aspirations. It is a perfect time for you to start putting all your plans in place. Mantra based remedies are going to be working brilliantly for you. If it is a mantra associated to Mercury or Venus, that could be absolutely wonderful for you. You can use Bija mantras of these grahas, or you could use Vishnu mantra or mantra related to goddess Lakshmi. Depending on the time period that you're running, Dasha, Antardasha, Pratyanta Dasha, but any mantra based remedies will be absolutely wonderful for you. You could also go through some changes in your dietary requirement, in your dietary needs, because of some stomach related issues, because of some digestive issues, because of some issues pertaining to your health and well-being that might reappear. So you have to be a little bit careful as well. Now this eclipse can bring positional success, positional rise of finances, gain of wealth, because there are a few dhan yogas that are predominantly active during the time of this eclipse. Sun and Saturn will be in opposition, so will be Mercury and Saturn. So your 5-11 axis is pretty much active, which does indicate new sources of income or a rise in your income, or some sort of incentive, some sort of bonus is something which you could expect. That is something which you can experience over the course of next few weeks. So it is your time to maximize, and may you have a pleasant month ahead. Gemini ascendant signs or the Gemini moon signs. So the partial solar eclipse on 21st of September is happening in your 4th house in the sign of Virgo in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra. This nakshatra has the energies of your Lagna lord Mercury and your 3rd lord Sun. There are a number of planets that are involved in this eclipse. which includes your ascendant Lord Mercury that will be conjoined with your third Lord Sun in the 4th house. And they will be in a mutual aspect with Saturn, who is making a retrograde transit in your 10th house, and Saturn is your 9th Lord and the 8th Lord. Saturn rules your Bhagya, your fortune, and also your transformation. Adversities are also seen from the 8th house. So eclipses do bring sudden shifts, sudden energies, because what happens when there is a solar eclipse? Suddenly it becomes dark. Suddenly there is light again. So things happen in a very quick succession. So therefore you could expect some quick movements, some quick changes, some quick beginnings with regards to matters pertaining to the 4th house and the planets, their significations and their lordship that are involved in this eclipse. So certainly this is going to put you out of your comfort zone. You could have a shift of place, you could have a change of residence, or you might make some changes in your house. It is a perfect time for you to declutter your home. Give away those things that you do not need to those who probably need it. Donate old stuff. This is an absolutely wonderful remedy for you. Also declutter your workspace. If you work from home, clean your office. If you work in an office setup outside of your home, make sure that you again declutter your desk, your office space. That is a brilliant remedy for you. Personally, you are expected to go through some significant changes by stepping out of your comfort zone because your Lagna Lord is involved. But one thing is good, that any efforts that you put, you're likely to see work related results, and also a greater focus on your mindfulness, on your mental health, on your mental peace, because your 4-10 axis is involved. Your 3-9 axis is also involved, because the sign of Leo and Aquarius will also play an important role, because Moon is making a transit from Leo to Virgo. So this indicates new beginnings. There could be journeys, there could be travel, which could be quite fruitful for you. But remember one thing, when you have to step out of your comfort zone, there are certain things which are not going in your way. So you have to be conscious about the fact that you need to proactively bring some changes in your approach in dealing with things. Whether it is your job, your career, your personal relationship, things at home. Maybe your style, your way of dealing is not working anymore. So you have to step out of your comfort zone. So for example, if you have a habit of not speaking a lot but more of listening, you might have to do the other way around, and you might need to be more expressive during this time for you to connect with the wider audience, because 4th house also represents public. So for those who are in the works of public speaking, social media, and of course dealing with masses, this could be a favorable time for you. But whenever you step out of your comfort zone, you do have some roadblocks, you do have some obstructions that you have to overcome. Do a lot of sadhana. See, because 4th house represents spiritual upliftment, because this is the first moksha trine, 4, 8, 12, and your 8th Lord Saturn is also involved here. So definitely you need to have some spiritual practices, morning routine, yoga, sadhana, and something that you start, you should be able to demonstrate consistency. Consistency is the demand of Sun. If you were to ensure that your efforts see some sort of results, you got to become more consistent in your efforts. Definitely there are new beginnings. If you have some assets, if you own a real estate, you could have some repercussions, maybe for good. You could gain more of real estate, you could gain more of assets in the coming weeks and months. This is your planning time, this is your thinking time, and a great sense of practice that you have to do, and your priority should be your own health and well-being, because if you fix your mental health, all the other things will be taken care during this time. Cancer ascendant signs or the Cancer moon signs. At the physical level, from a physical manifestation point of view, you will only read this from the ascendant sign. At the mental level, you can also see this from the moon sign in terms of dealing with certain mindset level. Now the eclipse, the partial solar eclipse on 21st of September is happening in your 3rd house in the sign of Virgo in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra. This nakshatra has the energies of Sun as well as Mercury. The ruler is Sun, who is your 2nd Lord. The deity is Ahriman, who is also one of the 12 Adityas. Now you must understand that you could expect new beginnings with regards to matters related to third house. Lunar eclipse brings ending, solar eclipse brings new beginnings. It's a big shift that happens twice a year where we close some chapters and we open fresh chapters. Third house of your chart represents valor, your courage. Change is seen from this house. We also call it Dushchikya Bhava in Vedic terms, which represents your desires, desires of all kinds, and growth, because this is also one of the Upachaya Bhava. So, of course, one thing is quite certain, that your desires will be very much on a higher side. This house is also the Kama trine or Kama trikon. Virgo is an earth sign. So, your desires will be very much material in nature, very much mundane in nature. That is something which you have to channelize. Now, your ascendant lord moon is involved in this eclipse. Your second lord sun is involved in this eclipse, and your seventh lord Saturn is also involved in this eclipse. So, for yourself, your wealth, your family, and your relationship. So, everything matters. All those people who are closely associated to you. Sun is your second lord. We see those people who you would like to protect, and it begins from your family, from your near and dear ones, and it also indicates your accumulation. So, definitely you are going to bring personal changes in yourself. Any efforts that you put over the course of next few weeks, results are guaranteed for yourself, for your wealth, and for the protection of your relationship. See, during this time, Sun and Saturn will be in direct opposition with each other, and so will be Mercury and Sun, because Mercury will be conjoined with Sun in the third house. Both Sun and Mercury, they do very well in the third house, and Mercury is exalted. It's a very good transit that Mercury is having. 3 and 9 axis itself indicates journeys, new beginnings, so you could have some new travel opportunity. You could have a shift of base. You could move countries over the course of next few weeks in case your Dasha Antardasha or your Pratyanta Dasha is supportive and any of these planets are involved. Personal transformation is inevitable, but you must continue to put efforts. You must continue to be more growth focused, growth centric. You will also develop valor. Now, there's a caveat that you will have high sense of desire, which could deviate you from the path of righteousness, because Saturn is going to create delays. Saturn is going to cause some sort of obstruction, some sort of leadership authority issues, because when Sun and Saturn come in opposition, Sun is the king, Saturn is the labor, of course it creates those authority issues. So you need a sense of guidance, because third house represents Guru Upadesha, a sense of guidance. If you need guidance, this is going to work well for you. Otherwise, you could be misdirected. You could end up taking a wrong decision by the virtue of your strong desires. So you have to have a practice, either a spiritual practice or some sort of daily routine, so that you can channelize your desires appropriately. Third house also represents your hands. So anything that you do using your hands, journal, exercise, maybe lift weights in the gym, work in your kitchen, anything that you could do that involves your hand is absolutely good for you. It is absolutely beneficial. If not anything, spend 10 minutes every day journaling, maybe write 5 things that you are grateful for, and you will see some phenomenal results over the course of next few weeks. Continue to strengthen moon. Use bija mantras related to moon, worship Lord Krishna, use a Krishna mantra, Om Kleem Gopichanda Vallabhaya Swaha. That will give you physical as well as mental strength to deal with these energies, and may you have fresh new beginnings. Leo ascendant signs. From a physical standpoint, you will read these eclipse energies from your ascendant. At a mental level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So this eclipse is unique in many ways, as I have explained in the beginning of my video, because number of signs are involved. The sign of Leo, the sign of Virgo, the sign of Aquarius, the sign of Pisces are involved here. Your Lagna Lord Surya is involved. Your 12th Lord Moon is involved. Your 7th Lord Saturn is involved. Your 2nd and 11th Lord Mercury is also involved in this eclipse. So, of course, there are a number of planets. Even your 10th Lord Venus is involved here. So, this is happening in your second house. Second house of Dhan Bhav. We also see family, your speech, your consumption, what you eat, what you consume from this house. Those people who you would like to protect. This is the house of your accumulation of all kinds, whether it is your finances, whether it is things, whether it is things that you store, things that you keep to yourself. So this house is utmost important. So here your Lagna Lord, Sun is involved. Second house matters, which is your finances, family, your consumption, your food, what you consume, what you eat, and at the same time your accumulation is likely to go through new beginnings. There are nice Dhan yogas that are activated during this time. Your 2-8 axis is involved. Your Lagna Lord Surya is involved, so definitely it is going to have an impact on you, your finances, and they are likely to rise over the course of next few weeks. You have an opportunity for new sources of income, additional sources of income, and having a positional growth, positional success, because Venus, who is your 10th lord, will also be making a transit in your ascendant, though it will be conjoined with Ketu. There are multiple good yogas that are active. The only obstruction here is Sun and Saturn's opposition, because Saturn is making a retrograde transit in your 8th house, which will cause some delay, which would cause some obstruction. Now, things can happen all of a sudden as well. A day when you're least expecting, you can have some financial gains, some sort of incentive, some sort of bonus, or a rise in your income, which you were not expecting. If you've been thinking of creating a secondary source of income through your personal interest, through a side hustle, this is a perfect time for you to plan and strategize. Mercury is exalted during this eclipse, who is your 2nd and the 11th lord, forming a beautiful yoga with Surya, which gives you independent capacity to make some important financial decisions as well. And the next few weeks is a good time for you to take care of your finances, to do a budget exercise, and to make decisions with regards to long-term savings, long-term investment, because you are not likely to lose there. Now, there would be some aggressive energies in your speech, in your voice, in of course what you say. So be very careful, because you will naturally be very authoritative. Mercury represents communication, Sun is power, Sun is authority, leadership. So you might sound very demanding to other people. So stay low key, be humble, be respectful to other people. Transformation is inevitable, and you could go through some conflict in your relationship. If you're married, if you're not, then also you could expect some sort of turbulence in your relationship. That is something which you have to hold on. That is something which is a sensitive matter. But overall, for your personal transformation, for the growth of your finances, for the growth of your income and food, what you consume, what you eat, it is a good time. Make sure that you hydrate yourself. You drink enough water through the course of next few weeks, because there are a lot of fiery energies that are there in your 2nd house, and this is aspected by an airy planet, Saturn. So this is where you have to maximize. Continue to strengthen Surya, offer water or argha to Surya to have him give maximum strength over the course of next few weeks. Virgo ascendant signs. At the physical level, from a physical standpoint, you will see this eclipse from the ascendant sign. At the mental level, you can also read this from your moon sign. Now, what is happening on 21st of September, we have the 2nd partial solar eclipse of the year that is happening in your ascendant in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra. This nakshatra has the energies of Surya, who is your 12th lord, and Mercury, who is your Lagna lord, lord of the ascendant, and also the 10th lord. Mercury is going to be involved in this eclipse. Your 11th lord Moon is going to be involved in this eclipse. 5th lord Saturn is going to be involved, and also your 9th lord Venus is going to be involved. So all your trinal lords are involved. Saturn will be in opposition with Sun and Mercury. Saturn is going retrograde in Pisces. Now Venus is also going to be involved because it is in Leo at that time, and Moon will be making a transit from Leo to Virgo. So when your trinal lords are involved, you can expect some repercussions when it comes to financial matters, when it comes to matters pertaining to your karmas, pertaining to your past as well as present karmas that will make a future for you, that will result in a good or not so good future, and that is more or less your Kriyaman karma. And of course, those karmas that you accumulate, most importantly, which is your Sanchita karma. Now here, this is happening in your ascendant. Your ascendant of the 1st house represents yourself, who you are. It is about your body, your vitality, your immunity. This is where your brain sits, the power of your thinking, the power of your decision making. How good are your decisions? Your ego, your self-ego, your self-esteem. So of course, this matters a lot. So you can expect significant shifts, significant changes over the course of next few weeks, because your ascendant lord Mercury is also involved in this eclipse. So something that is coming to an end is already indicative of the lunar eclipse. Now new beginnings are mostly related to yourself, your personality, your body, your immunity, your vitality, and also 12th house matters, which is your self-awareness, your higher self-consciousness, your ability to give, your ability to donate. Since your 12th lord is involved, so you must make donations as a specific remedy during this eclipse. You should donate wheat, which will be very good for you, or any form of grains that is associated to sun. Another remedy for you could be to feed pigeons in order to strengthen your Mercury, because Mercury is associated to pigeons. Now it is happening in your ascendant. Your 1-7 axis is involved during this eclipse, so you could definitely expect some sort of relationship karma. Saturn could bring in delays here, because Sun and Saturn are in opposition. Mercury gains direction strength in the ascendant, Sun is the significator, and Saturn also gains direction strength. So the planets are in a powerful position, and you will experience a number of planets in your Kendra houses through the month of September. So this could bring a boost in your self-confidence, in your self-esteem, but you must remember that with high self-confidence, it could also put you in a situation wherein you feel overconfident and ego gets into your head, wherein you could become a lot demanding in nature. You could get into quarrels or argument with some people because of this egocentric behavior. So this is something which you have to counter. You need to counter your own ego by practicing humility, by staying grounded. Because see, Virgo is an earth sign, and from a physical standpoint, Mercury, an earth planet, getting exalted in the earthy sign of Virgo, it's a selfish planet, but you have to rather not be so self-centered, but offer donations to other people. But at the same time, this is a perfect time for you to self-nurture yourself and stay grounded all through the time if you were to maximize these opportunities. Your work could see potential growth, your business could see potential growth. Relationship is a sensitive area, is a sensitive subject where there could be some delays. There could also be some delays in business related decisions, but your personal health and vitality will be quite optimistic over the course of next few weeks. There could be some minor issues because when Mercury is in Lagna, it is the natural ruler of the 6th sign of Virgo, and 6th sign of Virgo itself represents diseases. So you could have some hospital visit, but your health and vitality is absolutely being protected. You will be in the best of health over the course of next few weeks, barring some minor issues that you have to deal with. Avoid extravagance, avoid overindulgence, and may you maximize these energies. Libra ascendant signs. From a physical standpoint, you will read these eclipse energies from your ascendant sign. At the mental level, you can also see this from your moon sign. So on 21st of September, we have the second partial solar eclipse of the year, which will mark the closure of the eclipse season of 2025. Solar eclipses bring new beginning. Lunar eclipses are all about ending, so we are looking forward to certain new beginnings here. Now this is happening in your 12th house in the sign of Virgo in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra. This nakshatra has the energies of Sun as well as Mercury. And here there are some prominent planets that are involved in this eclipse, which includes your ascendant lord Venus, because Venus will be in the sign of Leo, where it is conjoined with Moon and Ketu. So Moon will be making a transit from Leo to Virgo at the time of the eclipse. And your 5th lord Saturn is also involved, and your 9th lord Mercury is also involved. So all three trinal lords, because Mercury will be conjoined with Sun in your 12th house, and Saturn will be in direct opposition in the 6th house retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So of course this could have some financial repercussions, this could have some financial impact as far as your matters are concerned. So 12th house represents your losses, expenditure, your higher self-consciousness, your ability to be more self-aware, your ability or your attitude towards others in terms of how giving you are in nature. Donations are seen from the 12th house. What you give away, what you give up is also seen from the 12th house. Your bed comforts, your sleep is also seen from this house, and your sense of self-awareness, that is also seen from the 12th house. This house does identify unlimited potential for our physical well-being. This house also identifies hospital visits and isolated places and foreign lands. So something is giving you this new beginning here with regards to matters of 12th house, which could be journey to a foreign land, which could be travel across places, because all your trinal lords are involved, your ascendant lord is involved, and your 10th lord moon is also involved in this eclipse. So this could bring some work related change as well, which initially will be uncomfortable for you because you could have some issues, there's something new, something unconventional, which will put you in an uncomfortable position initially. But from a spiritual standpoint, it is a very good transit for you. It is a very good eclipse because 12th house represents moksha bhava. It represents spirituality. It is the highest moksha trine. So any spiritual practices will be absolutely very beneficial for you. You can use a 12 syllable or a Dwadash Akshari Vishnu mantra during the time of eclipse, which is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is how you will be able to channelize these energies and make the most of it. Now your 12-6 axis has Sun and Saturn in opposition, and Sun is also conjoined with Mercury, which could bring some health repercussions. But this is a good time for you to protect your finances. It is protecting you from any unwarranted losses, any unwanted expenditure that is likely to come down, and you will be more focused on saving, you will be more focused on accumulation. It is a very good time for you to be more self-aware. Reach out to other people, solicit feedback, and try to uncover your strengths, your hidden strengths, and how you can build on your strengths. There could be some job related matters that can have new beginnings as well, because certainly Saturn, who's making a transit in your 6th house, will bring new opportunities when it comes to job related matters, and that is something which can be fructified within the next few weeks. From a remedial point of view, you must continue to strengthen Mercury. Do Mercury related remedies, which is Vishnu mantra, because Mercury is also giving a Viparita yoga at the time of the eclipse. So something that is having a new beginning, either you probably change or deviate your finances, deviate your expenditure, spend on dharma, spend on right things, spend on good deeds, spend on your family. This is how you need to maximize these energies. Make sure that you work on your sleep. Make sure that you increase your spiritual sadhana, you increase your spiritual practices, because things momentarily will be a little bit uncomfortable for you, and it's going to take some time for things to settle down, and I hope you do well. Scorpio ascendant signs. From a physical standpoint, you will read this from your ascendant sign, your lagna. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign or your Chandra Rashi. On 21st of September, there is a partial solar eclipse that is happening in the sign of Virgo in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra. And this nakshatra has the energies of Sun as well as Mercury. Alright, the king and prince, and both of them get along really well with each other, and both of them are also involved in this eclipse. This is happening in your 11th house. Solar eclipses bring new beginning. Though it is partial, it will still have an impact on you. You can expect to have some sort of good new beginnings as well. I am very positive. And this is happening in your 11th house. 11th house represents your income, your gains, material comfort, material success. We also see enemies from this house, bigger enemies, because this is 6th from the 6th house. Lagna is you. 11th house is your fulfillment. So a sense of fulfillment is seen from the 11th house. Illusions are also seen from the 11th house. It is a very important house for all the material mundane matters. Firstly, Any planet making a transit in the 11th house, it does very well. So you could expect new beginnings with regards to matters of the 11th house. And here your 10th lord sun is involved, your 9th lord moon is involved. So the one that rules your karma, that is sun, and your dharma, that is moon, both of them are involved. So you could expect significant shifts. This could lead to a rise of income, this could lead to a start of income, this could lead to financial gains, incentive, recognition, bonus, promotion, or some sort of elevated growth at work. If you're already at work, circumstances, things, situation could be positive for you, that you get some growth opportunity, because Mercury is also making a transit in the 11th house, being the 11th lord. So 9th, 10th, 11th lords are together in the 11th house. It is a once in a moment kind of a transit which could bring some massive financial gains, because there is a Dhan Yoga, multiple Dhan Yogas that are activated during this time. Though this could lead to some sort of delay, because Saturn is also involved here, making a transit in the 5th house. Now Saturn does need to be remedied here, and for this you have to look up to Mars. You have to continue to strengthen Mars, your Lagna lord. Either you use Bija Mantra of Mars, worship Lord Narsimha, or read Hanuman Chalisa on a daily basis, and try to bring in a lot of energy and utilize your energy in the most efficient manner over the course of next few weeks. This is the ultimate remedy for you. Financial gains are inevitable in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. Now this can also momentarily give you some opposition. So you have to be careful of some other people who could be envious to you during this time. This could be your friends, your social connect, your wider social network. So be very careful of not venting out your emotions towards your friends, towards your social connections, while interacting with people on social media platforms, because you could have the tendency to vent out your emotions, and this could be detrimental towards your relationship. This could have an impact on your image, right? So it's a very fulfilling time period for you, which is marking new beginnings, which will also bring any career related roadblocks that have been there. Now you will move towards fulfillment, but this will come with opposition. You must remember that you have to overcome opposition, you have to conquer. You might have to, resolve conflicts of other people, of your friends. You might have some issues with your teacher, with your guru, with your mentor, and this is also where you have to be careful. Personal life could also have some issues with regards to relationship, because Venus will also be under certain affliction and it is involved in this eclipse. So you can have a quarrel or an argument with your partner. So stay low key with these matters and continue to focus on your work. Sagittarius ascendant signs, or the Sagittarius moon signs. At the physical standpoint, physical level, you will read this eclipse energies from your ascendant sign. At the mental level, you can also read this from your moon sign. Now what is happening on 21st of September, the partial solar eclipse, the second of the year, which will mark the closure of the eclipse season of 2025, is bringing new beginnings. This is happening in Virgo, in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra. This nakshatra has the energies of Sun as well as Mercury. And this is happening in your 10th house. So your 10-4 axis is involved. There are a number of planets that are involved, barring your Lagna lord Jupiter. But Mercury is involved here, and Jupiter is making a transit in Gemini that is lorded by Mercury. So you will have an impact of this eclipse. Sun is making a transit along with Mercury. Moon will also join them. Moon will transit from Leo to Virgo. Venus is also involved, Ketu and Rahu are also involved, and Saturn is also involved, because Saturn is in opposition with Sun and Mercury. So your 10-4 axis is involved. So without doubt, 10th house, your profession, your work, it is the karma bhava. It represents your actions in the outer world and how you orient yourself. What do you do to survive and sustain yourself in this world? It is your work, your duty, your karma, and at the same time, of course, you could probably classify it into a job or a business or any kind of routine work that you do. Now, this will mark new beginnings with regards to work related matters. So it's quite an auspicious time period for you, because your 10th lord Mercury is involved. But this will come with a caveat, because Mercury is also the Badakesh for you, or the lord of obstacles, being the 7th lord. So momentarily, you could be in a situation where there are work related obstacles, there are leadership issues, authority issues. There are some issues with your colleagues that you have to overcome in order to become successful at work. New beginnings are guaranteed in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. This is a perfect time for you to step into a new role, new opportunity, initiate new line of work, start something that you've been thinking about it since a long time. Over the next few weeks after the eclipse, you can very well begin, because the energies are such. Your ninth lord sun is involved, that represents your bhagya, that rules your bhagya, your fortune. Sun is forming a nice dharma karma yoga along with Mercury. Continue to remedy sun, because the nakshatra energies predominantly indicate sun, and it is a very nice social nakshatra. So spend time in terms of building social relationships at workplace. You could be benefited by your network, by your acquaintances. So if you've been looking for an opportunity, you've been unsuccessful, try reaching out to those people who you are connected with. And this is also a very good time for you to expand your network, build your personal as well as professional brand. This is the kind of opportunity which is there. Saturn's direct aspect and a mutual aspect with Sun and also Mercury is likely to bring in delays in any work related decision that you would do. Maybe things are not closing out on the time that you want, but stay patient, have plenty of resilience, perseverance. Things will materialize, it will close on its own accord. You have to just keep doing your duty, keep doing your karma. If you were to improve your work related settings, you must look at worshipping Lord Vishnu. Use the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or you could listen to Vishnu Sahasranam during the time of eclipse or on the day of the eclipse to maximize these energies. And this is a perfect time for any new beginnings that are related to work. Also declutter your workspace, clean up the space, and try to donate things. Donate things related to children, especially education related items, stationery, books. Make donations of these things to pacify Mercury and minimize these obstacles that you might face with regards to your work. Capricorn ascendant signs. At a physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. However, at the mental, emotional level, you can also read this from the moon sign, but physical results will be only seen from the ascendant. This is about the partial solar eclipse happening on 21st of September, which will be the last eclipse of the year, closing down on the eclipse season for the year 2025. And this is happening in your ninth house. There are a number of planets that are involved in the eclipse, which includes your trinal lord. That includes Saturn, it includes Venus, it includes Mercury. So here your Lagna lord is involved, your ninth lord Mercury is involved, your fifth lord Venus is involved. So when trinal lords are involved, there could be some financial repercussions or certain decisions that you could expect. But one thing that is rejuvenating, something that will have a refresh, restart, is your bhagya, because ninth house is the house of fortune. It is your bhagya, it is your dharma, your duty, it is your religion, whatever practice you follow. The message is very clear. If something is coming to a new beginning, you need to ensure that you sustain. If you probably recreate a totally new belief system, your duty is to be able to sustain that system, to move towards the path of righteousness. Your decisions are going to be right over the course of next few weeks. You have a sense of respite, you have a sense of relief. If you've had delays in terms of paperwork, in terms of any issues with regards to government related work, now you will see things moving. Your 9-3 axis is involved, because Sun and Mercury are in the ninth house and they are in a mutual aspect with your Lagna lord Saturn. So of course this marks new beginnings. You could go on journeys, long distance travel could be on the cards. In case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive, this time period over the course of next few weeks or the next couple of months, you can travel outside of your home country as well, either for higher education, if you have some pursuits, if you are an aspirant for going for higher education, or this could be a work related change, work related travel as well, which could probably help you settle overseas or in another country. If you're already outside of your home country, you might make some decision pertaining to real estate or some sort of assets, maybe real estate or vehicle or any assets that you own there. Or you could go about investing in something from a fixed asset point of view. Bhagya is going to rise, fortune is going to rise, but what happens is when ninth house brings new beginnings, it does bring a lot of ego to the individual, because this is where Sun is involved. Sun is ego, he is the authority. Your ninth lord Mercury is also involved. So you need to channelize your ego. You need to ensure that you practice humility. You're kind, respectful, and courteous to other people. Of course, you can demonstrate some sort of authoritativeness here, but as long as you strike a balance between authority and compassion, you can make the most of it. Momentarily, you could have issues with people who hold an authority, but with your poise, with your patience, you will be able to navigate these situations very well and look forward to new beginnings. You must continue to strengthen your Lagna Lord Saturn. Look up to Saturn or look up to Mercury in terms of doing mantras related to either Saturn or Mercury, or giving them the due strength. You are likely to have maximum impact with regards to your temperament. So you will go through temperament changes as well. This time period is very good for you to go for any spiritual travel, spiritual retreat, or travel to any isolated places, because your 8th lord is also involved here, and this is happening in your 9th house, and it's being aspected by your Lagna Lord Saturn. This is going to bring a great sense of respite. Work towards Dharma, be the ambassador of the Dharma, be the messenger of your Dharma, and I wish you the very best. Aquarius ascendant signs or the Aquarius moon signs. From a physical standpoint, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So on 21st of September, we will witness the second partial solar eclipse of the year that is happening in the sign of Virgo in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra. This nakshatra has the energies of Sun and also Mercury, the king and the prince, and it is happening in your 8th house. So 8th house is a very tricky house because it represents that dark, deep phase in our life. It has got darkness and it has got depth as well. This represents your hidden desires, your secrets. It also represents Ayush or longevity. So for the purpose of your health, life and death, it plays a very important role. 8th house, we see transformation, because you know when we are born, we transform, we grow, we transform. It's a continuous process. 8th house represents sudden transformation, sudden events in life. Eclipses also signify sudden events because everything happens all of a sudden. The changes are very quick, very fast. Suddenly it's dark, suddenly there is light again. This is the energy of eclipse, which is very similar to the 8th house energies, which is sudden ups and downs, sudden transformation. And this house represents our Nija dosha or our inherent weaknesses and how we are able to counter those weaknesses. Now your Lord of the Ascendant, Shani, is involved because he is making a retrograde transit in the 2nd house and is in a mutual aspect with Sun, Mercury and Moon during the eclipse. Moon will be moving from the 7th house to the 8th house. It will be conjoined with Venus. So Venus is also involved, Mercury is also involved. So your Lagna Lord Saturn, 5th Lord Mercury, 9th Lord Venus is involved, and your 7th Lord Sun is also involved. So yourself, your future, your dharma and your spouse, your partnership, your business, all of this is going to have an impact, and the key message is transformation. New beginning is inevitable. Over the course of next few weeks, be prepared for some sort of suddenness in life. There could be a sudden shift or a sudden movement or a change that could initially put you in an uncomfortable position. But one of the objectives of this eclipse is to make you mentally as well as physically strong. You might feel a bit restless, so you have to take care of your mental health, you have to take care of your physical health, but over the course of next few weeks, you will be able to transform yourself in a positive manner, because this eclipse is bringing positive transformation since your trinal lords are involved. This might not be the ideal time to make any major financial decisions, any decisions pertaining to investment or management of your funds. Now, if there are certain matters related to inheritance, if there was any delay, if there was any issue with regards to paperwork, now you can see some progress. Now, 8th house is the moksha bhava. 4, 8, 12 is the moksha trine. So, for spirituality, for spiritual practices, yoga, sadhana, meditation, or any such practices, it is an excellent time. You would need a lot of sadhana and a lot of spiritual remedies over the course of next few weeks. This is quite ultimate for you. Now, those who have children, because 8th house is from the 5th house, your children could see some sort of success, some sort of happiness or progress over the course of next few weeks, because this house becomes positive for them. Now, we also see fulfillment in your marriage, fulfillment in your relationship, because this is second from the 7th house. So, of course, there is some mixed karma here. Depending on your dasha antardasha, you could either have an extremely good time, extremely fulfilling time, or a little bit challenging time based on the dominance of planet. If Surya will dominate, it will be challenging. If Mercury dominates or Saturn dominates, it could be good for you, because these are Karaka Grahas for you. But regardless of the fact, Venus will be also under certain affliction, so there is certain relationship karma, not only with regards to your partner, but with other people. So be careful of not engaging yourself in quarrels or argument with other people. Continue to be focused on your transformation of your health, body, vitality and immunity. Look up to Shri Hari Narayan. Use the mantra Om Namo Narayanaya, which is an Ashtakshari or an 8-syllable mantra, and may he protect you. Pisces ascendant signs. At the physical level, physical results, you will see this from your ascendant sign. At the mental, emotional level, you can also see this from your moon sign. So on 21st of September, we have the second partial solar eclipse of the year, which will mark the ending of the eclipse season. But solar eclipses bring a new beginning. This is happening in the sign of Virgo, which falls in your 7th house. This house is also the Badak Sthan for you, or the house of obstacles. And Mercury, besides being the 7th lord, also becomes the lord of obstacles, making an exalted transit in your 7th house along with Sun. Saturn making a transit in your Lagna, being retrograde, and they are in a mutual aspect. Moon, who's your 9th lord, is also involved in this transit, and Sun is your 6th lord. So, of course, you can expect new beginnings with regards to matters related to the 7th house. 7th house is the Jaya Bhava. We also call it Daya Bhava. Being Jaya Bhava, it represents peace and also war. Being the Jaya Bhava, it represents your ability to help, whether you will help others or you will be self-centered. Now, Mercury being placed here indicates that you are self-centered during this time. Sun will make you giving in nature, so it's a bit of a conflict energy wherein you will try to focus on yourself and of course at the same time helping other people as well. But there is definitely a relationship karma that you have to go through over the course of next few weeks, because something is coming to an end. It could be related to relationship or your attitude or behavior in relationship that is likely to have a huge change. This change could be for good, in order to bring in a sense of loyalty, communication, and a sense of humility in your relationship, a sense of deep respect and understanding in your relationship. Those people who are probably looking forward to stepping into a new relationship, or probably getting married, or getting associated, or starting a business, next few weeks, couple of months could be an ideal time for all of these new beginnings. The 7th house matters. But remember one thing, 7th house is a Kama Bhava. 3, 7 and 11 are Kama trine. Your desires are going to be on a higher side. So you could be restless as well. You could have some issues with existing relationship, existing partnership, and you might probably seek out for new connections. So your desire quotient will be much on a higher side, and this is where you have to be careful. See, Sun has a weak disposition in the 7th house. Mercury also attains Maran Karaka, but Mercury is the 7th lord making a transit in the 7th house. Of course, it will make you take some very quick decisions. So it will bring some impulsive energies when it comes to dealing with other people. So hold on, slow down on the impulsion. Think through before you decide. Even while communicating with other people, particularly with your spouse or partner, be very careful of what you say and when you say. Saturn, who's mutually aspecting Sun as well as Mercury, could bring some delays. But these delays are for good, because it is helping you move towards a more disciplined you. See, Mercury is also the lord of obstacles, so this means it could definitely bring some obstacles in your life because it has a strong transit, it is exalted in the 7th house. You must look up to Lord Ganesha. Keep a Ganpati yantra in your place of worship and worship it every day if you were to minimize obstacles during this time. And do Ganpati sadhana, do Ganesha sadhana at the time of eclipse as well. That is the ultimate remedy for you. Now, if you were to start new business or travel to another place, a foreign land or a different country, that is also seen from the 7th house. Because first house is you, 7th house is directly opposite to where you are, the physical you. So this can trigger a movement as well, depending on certain situations or circumstances, because your 12th lord Saturn is also involved making a transit in your ascendant. So this travel initially could be difficult for you, but in the long run will bring some beneficial results that you could expect, which are in the best interest of your growth. Stay low key, focus on yourself and try to build cordial relationships with other people, and I wish you the very best. So friends, this was yet another unique and detailed video on the upcoming partial solar eclipse that is happening in the sign of Virgo in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra. I hope and believe this eclipse will bring renewed energies in the kind of social connections that we build, and we take everything in life in a very responsible manner. Even if it is power, even if it is authority or a sense of dominance, we take all decisions with utmost responsibility. Stay tuned for more such videos on my channel. Thank you very much. God bless you all.